thought you might like to see how the white machine is working out for Motion Quilting. I had to make a few modifications to it to make it work for me. The main thing was white machines had top clamping feet. They did not have the standard low shank side clamping feet that modern machines have. And so I had to come up with a way to make a quilting foot fit onto the machine. What I ended up doing is I changed the presser bar with one from an old Singer, and fortunately that fit, and I was able to, I had to take the faceplate off, unscrew it all, change it, but anyway, then after I got that in, I was able to attach a regular quilting darning foot to that. So that worked. Now it had to be one that had an open space here, because in addition to having the foot not be standard, there's also a bigger space between the needle and the presser foot. So if right now I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but see how close that needle is? It normally would be in the middle of that space, but in this machine it's way up in the front. And if there wasn't this gap here, if this was one of those closed toe feet, the needle would hit that. So I had to get one that was open. And I had another one that I was using for a while, different style, and this opening was pretty close to big enough, and I actually filed it out a little bit to make it even bigger so that that one would go on too and it doesn't hit. But I found that I like this style better on this machine. These are designed so that this little bar goes over the screw on the needle bar, and every time that needle goes up to the highest position, it lifts the foot up. So it's going along on the fabric, and the needle goes up and it lifts the foot, and so it hops. Sometimes they call it a hopping foot. And that's so that you have, theoretically, so you have an easier time guiding your fabric and making it move. Well, I found it wasn't working great for me. I have a better time if it's not jumping up and down. So what I did is, and I don't know if you can see it there, I bent the arm, so like this. I bent the arm up, and that made it so that the needle does not, or that screw on the needle doesn't hit it. So now it's just kind of gliding over. The way that I have it set up is I had to do some adjusting on the tension here, on the pressure, by loosening and tightening that, so that it would be just the right amount of pressure, and it is spring loaded, so it has a little, there's a little play in it. And it seems to be enough that I can get over and move the fabric under the needle and not have any big problems. The machine is like most really old machines. They didn't have a needle or a dropping feed dogs option, and that's not a problem. I just have the levers right here. You just set it to the lowest that it'll go, and it seems to be fine. The other thing about this machine that's interesting, it's taken me a long time to get used to, is it rotates the opposite direction. When I do a Singer, they come towards me. This one goes away from me. So when I start it up, I have to remember to turn it the right direction or it won't work. So on the border, the biggest problem that I have is following these little lines, because I'm just quilting back and forth on these straight lines of fabric. And in order to be kind of accurate, I have to go pretty slow. The other thing is, if I go too fast, I have a tendency to skip stitches or make little gaps where there's no stitching. And if I keep it nice and steady and slow, I get a much better result. The secret I find for myself is really practicing with the machine that you're using, so that you get accustomed to the combination of how fast I have to move my foot to make the machine operate, and how fast I have to move my hands to make the stitches look right. You know, your stitch regulator is your hands and your feet. Your foot making the speed of the machine, and your hands making how fast the fabric moves. You have to sort of be in the right sync with each other. And it takes some practice, and really every machine that I have is different. And I get different amount of rotation on different machines depending on which one it is. So some of them I have to do more foot pedaling to get the same amount of rotation and speed as I do on others. Anyway, this one seems to work pretty good. It's a nice machine. It's got standard, not standard, but round bobbins. They're kind of big, but they're pretty flat. But they hold a good amount of thread, and they're different than the last video I did. I showed you that I was using the what machine was I using? I think I was using the Free number 5, and that had the long bobbins that are kind of like looks like a little barbell, and it's a totally different setup, but it works about the same mechanically. See that? I skipped all those stitches. It's because I was turning it the wrong direction. Let me tighten my thread up, and let's go the right way. So it takes a little practice, but of all the machines I've used so far, I think this one's got the most promise for really giving me consistent results. I have had this quilt basted for a long time, and I've been working on it on and off, and I've been working on a lot of machines on and off. So I've done sort of testing out on several machines on this same quilt. I used Singer 66. I used a Singer 27, a 127, a 15. Japanese-made Singer 15 clone. I made a Franklin treadle. So I've used a bunch of different machines on this same quilt, and so far this White Rotary is the winner. It gives me the best control, and it's smooth. I really like it, and I'm glad I converted it so that I could use it for this. I mean, if I hadn't changed the presser bar, it still would have been a great machine for piecing, but it's really working out well for free motion quilting too. So I'm pretty pleased with the results. Next time, I'll show you how I did the more fancy part instead of just the straight lines. But I just wanted to give you an update and show you how it's working out.